What's up, everybody? Welcome to Heresy Financial. My name is Joe Brown, and today we're talking about the fact that the IRS is extending the tax deadline. As I'm sure you're aware, the tax deadline is normally April 15th, and as of right now, it looks like they're extending it 1 month to May 15th. However, since that would be on a weekend, it would push it to May 17th, which is the first Monday following the 15th. So in this video, we're going to talk about number one, why they would be doing this, number two, how it impacts you, and how you might be able to get some additional benefits out of this as well. Ready? Let's dive in. So if you remember last year, due to COVID and all the craziness that was happening around tax filing season and the tax deadline last year, especially when nobody knew how things were going to be turning out, they extended the tax deadline last year. And so about a month ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago, Democrats in Congress really started pushing the IRS to make another extension of the deadline for this year. So the IRS has finally done that, and they've extended it to what looks like will be May 17th. And so if you're waiting on K-1s because you're invested in limited partnerships or other things like that, and you're always rushed at the end of the year to get your taxes filed while you've been waiting for your documents for months to come in, this will be a nice breather for you again this year, that you'll have an extra month to get those taxes filed. Now, I was going to be shocked if the tax deadline didn't get extended this year, simply because the IRS is failing. This isn't something you're going to see on mainstream news outlets like CNBC or Bloomberg, but there are reports all over the place, especially small business owners who are just running into problem after problem after problem with the IRS. And partly, you can't blame them. When you have a government that every couple of months is changing the tax laws and laying tons of extra burdens on you on money going out and how you're going to calculate new tax credits and deductions when money comes in, it's just a cluster storm right now. And I do not envy anybody who has to work at the IRS in general, but especially right now. When you talk to small business owners saying, hey, they're getting charged twice, or they paid their tax bill they filed from 2 years ago, and now they're getting late fee notices saying that, hey, you haven't paid. They call them up. It was after waiting on hold for hours. People are saying, oh, the representatives at the IRS are saying, oh, sorry, that was just an error. You're all good now. You're cleared. You talk to CPAs and people who prepare taxes for a living, and it's just a mess right now. Constantly sifting through all of the new data, all the new laws, all the new rules on how money going in and out affects somebody, whether they qualify for certain deductions or credits and how it's applied. These are the types of things that cause tax systems to break down. When you study the fall of empires like the Weimar Republic in Germany, this is one of the things that started to happen. The tax system just broke down. The tax laws were changing so frequently as they were trying to deal with the economic fallout, especially as they were also trying to solve the economic problems by printing and inflating the money supply. People just gave up and people just stopped paying taxes. And the tax system is actually pretty fragile. The only reason that people pay taxes is because people pay taxes. And if one person out of all 330 million people in America commits tax fraud, it's very easy to stop, to nail that person and to apply punishment, and nobody else will want to take that risk. But if everybody just stops paying taxes, the government can't do anything about it. They don't have the resources, the manpower to deal with all of the changes laid on by Congress right now, let alone what would happen if businesses and individuals all across the country just said, nope, I'm done. And so personally, I wouldn't even be surprised if the extension gets extended again from May 17th to maybe June or July, as the IRS and as tax preparers and as Congress has to work through this whole mess that they've created with constantly updating and changing the tax laws, especially given the fact that the IRS is going to be charged with distributing payments to individuals that are going to be those tax credits, the child tax credits. They're going to be charged with $300 or $200 per child going out to families as a tax credit. It's a huge burden on an organization that already is dealing with a ton and may or may not even have the technological infrastructure to be able to roll something like that out effectively. Now, I said at the beginning of the video, there's some good news because there's something that applies to you if you have not already maxed out your contributions to your IRA for the year 2020, this gives you an extra month. And so if you weren't aware, you are able to continue to make contributions to an individual retirement account until the tax filing deadline. So for 2020, the IRA contribution limit is $6,000. So let's say you're putting $300 a month into your IRA. That means that at the end of 2020, you would have put in $3,600 into your IRA during the year of 2020. But every year you are allowed to continue to contribute to your IRA for the prior year until tax filing deadline. So that means right now you could be contributing still $300 a month or whatever it is into your IRA and marking those contributions as 2020 contributions so that they count for 2020 instead of 2021. So if you're trying to get that maxed out number and you need a little bit of extra time because you're just taking some from your income, whatever you have left over into your income, you got an extra month now. And potentially we might see that 1 month extended even further. So this is great news, especially considering the environment right now with asset prices basically just being inversely correlated to what the dollar is doing. Not the dollar versus other currencies, just the dollar versus everything else. It's the central bank versus all other assets. And asset prices are, the market is basically expecting full steam ahead right now. This means that purchasing power of the dollar is rapidly deteriorating away. And so if you've been looking for a way to invest in gold or silver or Bitcoin or maybe even some other cryptocurrencies tax-free, an IRA is a great way to do that. And I like to use iTrustCapital. Very easy to use. Best user interface I've ever seen for a self-directed IRA for alternative investments. You can store physical allocated gold or silver inside this IRA. You can also buy cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin inside this IRA. And again, like I just mentioned, you have an extra month now in order to get your contributions in for the prior year. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You guys have a good day.